Not all that long ago, only the most premium TVs were QLED TVs. If you bought a QLED TV, you were gonna pay up big time for the enhanced color, brightness, and accuracy that quantum dots, the Q in QLED, would get you. But today, there are tons of QLED TVs, and they're all pretty stinking good. So which one should you buy? I'm gonna help you with making that decision right now. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Caleb Dennison, and I believe the first QLED TVs were released by Samsung in 2017. The least expensive of which, the 55-inch Q7, was $2,500, and prices went well up from there, all the way to the 88-inch Q9, which debuted at, you ready? $20,000. Well, times have changed, and for the better. QLED technology has now trickled down to far less expensive TVs. In fact, while the least expensive QLED TVs on my list are 55-inch models, going for about $500, there are even less expensive options. And that actually reminds me, I wanted to explain that this list is based entirely on my personal favorites. There may be a totally decent QLED TV that you're considering that would be great for you. And just because I don't mention it on this list does not mean that you shouldn't buy that TV. It's just that, as I said before, there are a ton of options. And my goal here is to whittle down those options while keeping the list to my personal favorites as a TV reviewer with 14 years experience under my belt. For example, the Hisense U8N and TCL Q6 are not on this list, but those would be great TVs and would be the right choice for a lot of folks. With that understood, let's start with the best bang for your buck QLED TVs. And that honor is shared by the Hisense U8N and TCL QM8. I mean, simply put, I think these TVs best represent the starting point of the law of diminishing returns. These TVs provide the highest return for spending more, and that's because they are simply remarkable TVs. I still kind of can't believe that TVs can look this good while costing so little. Both the TCL QM8 and the Hisense U8N have mini LED backlight systems that provide incredible brightness and backlight control. So you get surprisingly good contrast and pretty sparkling HDR highlights. I like to tell folks that if you're upgrading from even an upper mid-tier TV from 4 or so years ago, you're going to be thrilled with the upgrade that these TVs provide. Both the QM8 and U8N run Google TV. They both have two HDMI 2.1 ports for the latest generation gaming consoles, and those HDMI 2.1 ports are separate from the eARC port. So you can run a great soundbar or AV receiver off the eARC port and have two HDMI 2.1 ports left for both an Xbox Series X and a PlayStation 5. Or you could do one of those consoles and a gaming PC. Now, I've reviewed the Hisense U8N formally, and while I've not done a full review on the TCL QM8 yet, I have lots of experience with it, and I can recommend both with full confidence. Now, the QM8 is quite a bit better than the 2023 Q7. So while I often tell folks that you would do just as well to buy a prior year model and save some money doing it, I actually think that if you're looking at this tier of TVs, go ahead and get the 2024 models I'm talking about here. Frankly, guys, these are the two TVs that the vast majority of folks should be looking at buying. They are people's choice TVs, and I think you'll be stoked with either one of them. However, if you have filet mignon taste on a top sirloin budget, then I would look at upgrading to either the Hisense U8N or TCL QM8. These TVs are just shocking. I mean, they really are putting the hurt on some of the other brands I'm going to talk about on this list, because the performance that you get for the money is just insane. TCL and Hisense are both out for market share blood, and the performance to price ratio of these TVs is proof. They have no business being so good for the price. So if you want that extra high brightness, you like a TV that really blows you away, but you don't want to spend as much money as some of the other options on this list, then the Hisense U8N and the TCL QM8 are both stellar choices. Oh, by the way, I have links to all of these TVs at their best prices down in the description. And I would just ask that if I helped you make a buying decision today, would you use those links when you buy? Because it helps out this channel tremendously and allows me to continue making this content all year long, every year. So thanks in advance. The next category of TVs that I want to talk about include the Sony Bravia 7 and the Panasonic W95A. These are TVs with pricing somewhere in between the TCL and Hisense 7 and 8 series TVs that I just talked about. And while they don't boast some of the outrageous specs that, say, the 8 series TVs do, they offer a level of refinement and accuracy that videophiles on a budget can really appreciate. What the Sony Bravia 7 and Panasonic W95A bring to the table is superior picture processing. Their upscaling and cleanup of low resolution and low bitrate content make watching cable, satellite, a lot of YouTube content, and all of that free ad-supported streaming TV stuff look quite a bit better. More like the high-quality stuff that you get from Netflix and Disney Plus and Max if you're subscribed to their premium tiers. The out-of-box color and grayscale accuracy from these TVs across most of the picture modes is ahead of the Hisense and TCL options. So basically, if you're a more discerning viewer and you're willing to pay a little bit more for a high-class experience with solid build quality that you can feel, both the Bravia 7 and W95A deliver that. Now, the Sony Bravia 7 runs Google TV, and the W95A runs Amazon's Fire TV OS. As I said in a recent episode of my show, You Asked, I don't think the built-in smart TV and streaming platform should be a decision-making factor, necessarily. Both the Sony Bravia 7 and Panasonic W95A have two HDMI 2.1 ports, and one of those two is also shared with the eARC port. Now, if you're not sure if that's going to be an issue for you, then it probably isn't going to be. If you don't want to connect more than one next-gen gaming console at a time, and you don't see that being a thing that you'll need to do in the near future, then I would not fret over it. I mean, just really solid TVs, both of them. A level of refinement that puts them above like-price competition, doesn't cost a boatload of cash in the end. I really think these are the gems for videophiles and real movie lovers on a budget. Before I move on to the next tier, I do want to insert one more TV model in this zone, but one which fills a big screen need that the Sony Bravia 7 and Panasonic W95A cannot, and that would be the Sony X90L. Now, the Sony X90L is a carryover model from 2023, I think, and it does not have a mini LED backlight or a ton of local dimming zones on its spec sheet. But I'm telling you, dollar for dollar, this is one of the finest performing large screen TV options available. It's got that top tier Sony processing, great brightness and backlight control, and is just a stellar TV that you can get in an ultra large screen size without going broke. Definitely look into this TV if you want to go 85 inches or larger. Okay, so the next tier gets us moving up toward the super premium TVs. I'm going to start this section with the Samsung QN90D. The QN90D is Samsung's best 4K QLED TV, okay? But Samsung also makes 8K TVs. In fact, Samsung is the only tier 1 brand in the 8K TV game. So while the QN90D here is one of Samsung's best TVs, it's not its most expensive TV model. The QN90D is a fully premium TV in that it offers more bells and whistles than you could possibly wrap your head around. Premium sound system, smart home device integration through its SmartThings interface, premium picture quality, a clever USB-C and solar rechargeable remote, the best cloud-based gaming hub that I'm aware of, which means you can play AAA titles without a game console. You just grab your favorite wireless controller, subscribe, and go. Samsung also offers a multi-view option that puts two different sources side by side. It also offers picture-in-picture. I mean, nobody outdoes Samsung when it comes to having, like, all the stuff. And when it comes to sound quality, Samsung also offers not just good onboard sound with the QN90D, but a feature called object tracking sound that really makes it seem like the sound is coming from specific areas on the screen. And if you add one of Samsung's soundbars, which are top of their class, by the way, do not sleep on Samsung soundbar systems, then you unlock Samsung's Q Symphony sound, which coordinates the TV's audio with the soundbar audio for an even bigger soundstage, enhanced object placement, and better dialogue clarity. So if you're looking for all the goodies, the Samsung QM891G is the pick. And it's got great picture quality too, which makes it an all-around solid purchase. And now, my pick for the best 4K QLED TV that you can buy right now. Unreservedly, it's the Sony Bravia 9. Now, I'm not gonna get too deep into the technical aspects of what makes this TV so incredible, and I do mean incredible. But for my money, nothing gets closer to OLED than the Bravia 9 QLED. And it's because Sony has created a very impressive mini LED backlight system that helps this TV execute remarkable accuracy and detail. This is the Videophile's QLED. When you can't do an OLED TV and you want the best picture that you can get from a QLED, you're gonna spend a pretty penny, and you're gonna spend it on the Bravia 9. There really isn't anything else to say, honestly. Though, if you want to know more about why its backlight is so awesome, here's a link to that video. Now, as much as I wanted to keep this list to TVs that most people could realistically buy, I do have to point to some other incredible TVs that, well, we'll call them more aspirational. I mean, this is a best of list, and I wouldn't feel right about not including them, even if not many of you are likely to buy them. So there's the 110-inch Hisense 110UX and the 115-inch TCL QM891G. These TVs are both firmly in the 5-digit price territory, and they are incredibly huge. They both offer unprecedented brightness and size for a consumer TV. I've got unboxing and reviews for both of them if you'd like to check those out. Just absolute insanity in the best possible way. So consider them acknowledged. Now, there's one more thing I need you to hear from me, but before that, I just want to say thank you for watching. If you like this video, please click that thumbs up button. I'd love to see you again. We make lots of videos about how to get the most out of the TV that you do buy. Don't forget those shopping links down in the description. And hey, share this video with a friend you know who might be shopping for a new TV, because that helps both them and us. Now, this list helps out with the best QLED TVs, but what if an OLED TV is the better choice for you? Well, to help decide that, click this video here, and if you just want to see all the best OLED TVs that you can buy, click here.